when the bosses are here, but that's all right. Because we're actually redoing the bottoms of the arrows, because when I did this line marking, all the top paint was gone. We pressure washed that off. Oh, she's moving hats. Must be for parking. So as you can see from this arrow here, when the professionals come in, they do like a hot pour. Hang on, little wait, vehicles. They're going somewhere else. So they do like a pour on. I'd say it's a pour on thing. This is real thick. You can see this one is just about to start lifting from there. So that's the same problem we had over here, is because it's in the canopies here. So what it does is it sweats and dwells underneath that arrow, underneath that thick layer of paint. It sweats, and then the mold gets in there and it lifts that off the ground. That was only done a year ago, and then I fixed up the corner that's cracked off. So we did the same thing to here. We water blast that whole end, refix that arrow, because you couldn't see it. It was all faded off from the tires, just wearing it off. And then we come back the following day, because we locked in that thick paint with a new coating like we did on that corner there. We locked it into the ground, and then it sweated, and it all the moisture underneath it just lifted it off. And then a couple of cars come through the following day and just took it off. Same thing that happened to this arrow up here. Hey Todd. So we recoated these arrows just to tidy everything up. The same thing's happened here. Is you can see it up here happening with the cracks. Because this is so thick, you can see it just moving there. And I lock it in with a new coat, with just this coating on this bare stuff here. I lock it in with a new coat. The moisture's got nowhere to go, so it just sweats and dwells. And it's been summer, as you can see here. As soon as the cars twist and turn on it, it just cracks straight off. So you got to be aware when you're line marking on this type of stuff, because you got to let your customers know that it's not your fault. If they want to remove the whole arrow, then you look at grinding that stuff off, or trying to get a really chunky grinder to try and agitate it off the surface. It's real easy over time, because the cars will just crush it, and it'll just turn into little bits and pieces of, you can see it over here. So it'll just come off the surface and then you can see how moldy and dirty it is underneath. It's real thick. Basically, the line marking, you're better off putting 2 or 3 thin coats on it, because you're going to get a longer lasting result, rather than doing this. This looks great, and it's great for non-slip, but it just doesn't last in certain areas. So in here it looks okay, because it's in, it gets full sun in the morning, but those two in there are pretty much in the shade all day, every day. So yeah, it's real strange. It gets real thick, but it's just stuff that you deal with when you're coming back to do line marking. So there's not much we can do about it. We just got to let it crack all the way off, and then I'll come in and re-stencil that one next year, or whenever they give me a call, because they're going to ask me to do all the lines out here and at the front car park. So there's, I think, 500, 600 car park bays out there, something like that. because this is a really popular zoo in Australia. And then like you got all the walkways, all the zebra crossings. So we come back and tidy that one up for free. That's not a problem. You got these ones here. It's just the trucks and the cars coming through. It's just always going to wear out. So it's just something that's constant repeating. Like your lines and stuff will normally stay there for years on end. You might get 5-6 years out of your lines because really cars are just driving into the bays and everything's fine. But it's always the corners where the tires are going to hit that's going to perish. Yeah, so I use glass beads. So that's more reflective as well. But high traffic areas, this is not really a high traffic area because it's driving only. But if you're doing the zebra crossings, I'll put a first coat, then I'll put glass beads, and then I'll blow it off, and then I'll re-roll it, and then I'll put glass beads down again. So that way you got glass beads inside the paint layer, and then you got glass beads on top for the reflective aspect. Because if you just throw glass beads on the top of the line marking, your tires are just going to wear it off really quickly. It's just going to pop off the paint. But if you put them inside the paint, it's going to last a little bit longer. You probably get 6 months out of it, especially if you get a lot of vehicles moving over it all the time. Just because it's got that paint layer that holds it down there. It's still going to twist and turn with the cars going over, but is it always going to be wear and tear on this type of stuff? You just got to be on it all the time. And it's like anything in Australia, the outside standard is an R13. Well, it was an R13. I think it's changed to an R9, which is a slip rating in Australia, which is a standard you have to have. So if somebody comes in and does a test on it, and they've slipped over and broken the ankle, and they do a test on it and it's not that slip rating, then you're liable for that claim. So you just got to be careful when you're doing this type of stuff. But if it's on bitumen and stuff like that, well, you don't really need to worry about it too much because it's got the rocks and stuff. And honestly, people should pick up their own feet instead of trying to sue somebody else. But if you're doing a zebra crossing or anything pedestrian wise, you always want to be putting grit and sand. I don't necessarily like to add into the paint. I'd rather do a quick coat, hit it with sand, blow it off, and then do another coat over top. Because 9 times out of 10, you're going to be putting 2 coats on zebra crossings and anything pedestrian wise. So it's just easier just to double coat it. Keep your tape down, because all I did for there is I just taped out the arrow again. Takes about 2 minutes just to tape out the arrow, roll it, done. It's starting to dry now. We'll leave the hats down. They know the hats are down. They'll pick them up about 8:30. It's 6 o'clock now, so it's 2.5 hours dry time, especially in this area that gets no sun, because I've got the palm trees in the way of my sun, so it really gets nothing in this area. But we'll be called back out to this job multiple times, but we've won other contracts inside the zoo and the car park, so we're starting to get more and more. So we're not too worried. If they want us to do another arrow, they just give us a call. We'll come out, smash in another arrow, because the next one will be the one up the top there that I showed you, because that is going to get trashed by the end of summer, because this is their peak time for the zoo, and there's going to be a lot of vehicles going over that arrow, so that's going to chop up pretty well because it's already started. So it's not good for arrows that are only 12 months old. These were only done 12 months ago, but if the last guy did a hot pour over a hot pour, where they come in, they pour it on, and they just kind of mold it into position, or they spray it really heavy, you only put it on the surface as good as the last person. So if the last person didn't clean or do anything, then it'll only last as long as it lasts. So I like to clean the surface before I line mark, because that way you get a longer service out of your line marking. But some people don't. They just come in and reline mark. That's fair enough. You do whatever you do, because it's your job, your work, your business. I like to clean and give a longer lasting result, but I charge accordingly to that as well. If I lose jobs, I lose jobs. So we're in the process of quoting a big line marking job around a private hospital. So we put the quote in that one for yesterday. So there's about 4 days work on that job, so it's quite large. But we'll see if we get it. If we don't, we don't. We'll find out soon enough. And then, yeah, I just thought I'd talk to you, explain to you what happened there. As you can see from over here, with the line breaking off. Not my fault. We move on. They'll move the hats and everything's sweet. So we're gonna move on now, because we got 2 more jobs today. We got a massive lichen roof clean. Sorry, got that sun in the background there. Got a massive lichen roof clean, which is normally a double clean, where we'll clean the roof and then we'll come back in about 2 months' time or a month's time. We'll just wait for what storms and stuff, and we'll just do a quick touch up on the roof, and just make sure everything's dead and everything's off the roof and everything's going where it's meant to be going. Snowing, damn it. Well, we'll come over there. I just got to wait for the kids. We're going to come over there one winter and drive around and stuff, because I want to wait for the kids to be probably 2 years older, just so they remember things a little bit easier, and they probably have a bit more fun because they'll be a bit taller. And yeah, I would like to drive from New York all the way down to Florida or something like that, and just take in the countryside, or see if the wife wants to do it. But always see what happens. There's a lot of people joining the group. I know, mate. I know. I'll come and see you. Yeah, I should be over this year. I don't know if I'm coming over pretty huge, or I'm coming over after that. I'm not quite sure yet. I haven't really worked that one out. But I do want to get back over there this year and see a couple of people and go from there. But all right, I'll catch you later. I'm going to head to another job.